Oh, news just in. A sheep can travel at speeds of up to 25 miles per hour.
Flipping out, that's fast.
And that comes from an article called Sheep Animal Facts. What's up, witches? It's Claudia here, and I have some exciting news. Finally, we have created a Patreon. So you can find us at patreon.com/truecrimecovenpod. At the moment, there is only one tier. It's the familiar tier, and it's just where you can chuck us a quid just to help keep us going every month. We aim to expand on this and create new tiers and exciting content. But for now, if you'd like to support us in this way, please do go ahead. That's patreon.com/truecrimecovenpod. Enjoy the episode, guys.
What's up, witches?
Hi, I'm Claudia.
And I'm Jess.
And welcome to True Crime Coven.
Do you know, I can't wait to do our first face-to-face one post-baby, just because it's so hard doing that.
It is so difficult.
over a Google Meet.
It would be a lot easier if I had a working webcam, but
yeah, also there is a delay, so like to me it sounds in time, to you it doesn't, or
yeah, so I'm always
versa.
Yeah, I've just learned to just go with it and just
and just hope that Simon's editing powers are better than our coordination skills.
I mean, they got to be.
They are.
Also, I think we've started the episode. I think that's how we're starting this week. So
yeah, we're just going straight into. We're still
waffle.
Obviously recording separately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I am seeing Jess tomorrow for the first time.
Yes.
In like 2 months.
Oh my God, yeah. Like Orla's almost 3 months. She's 12 weeks tomorrow, which means we're officially out of the 4th trimester. Yay, she's got her jabs on Thursday, haven't you?
Oh, poor Bubba.
Also,
So,
currently
hello,
recording with Orla on my lap.
I bet she's a good baby, so it's fine.
She's asleep. She's asleep.
So hi everyone. Welcome to 2023, I guess. Hope you all had a fabulous Christmas and New Year's. And hopefully, well, if you celebrated Christmas, that was. If you merely survived Christmas or just don't care about Christmas, that's fine too. You made it, you're here. And Happy New Year. If 2022 was rubbish for you, then I hope 2023 is a lot better. 2022 wasn't my finest year, but it was a very good year for you, wasn't it, Jess?
Yeah, it was. Well, obviously I had Orla. That was the main highlight. But also, like, I don't know, I did put a post out on Instagram the other day, and I don't know if anyone who listens follows me, but obviously I actually, reflecting back on the year, I managed to do loads of things while still being pregnant without not it getting in the way, but without letting it stop me, like,
which must be quite empowering.
Yeah, like realizing, one, you don't need alcohol to have fun. You can still be the life of the party if you don't want to drink, and that's absolutely fine. I still went to Alton Towers, and although I love rides and couldn't go on any, and obviously never would because of the risk to the baby, I actually still had a really fun day being like the camera woman.
Yeah.
And like
it's
holding
all who
everyone's
you're with,
bags.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and we just had a really fun day, and we did like other things that we wouldn't have done normally. Like we went and saw like shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, just doing like other bits. And I still managed, I was bridesmaid for my brother's wedding and my best friend's wedding. So yeah, it was a heck of a year.
Yeah, you had a really good year.
Yeah,
and
I'm up for a quiet year now. Like, that would be fine.
Yeah, to be fair, you had like a busy year of weddings and babies and...
Yeah, so...
I don't think you're going to have a quiet year with a baby, though. I'm just going to put that out there.
Well, not like necessarily like that kind of quiet, but just of like a bit more of a relaxing year.
Less events.
Less busy.
Less life-changing events.
Although I turned 30 this year, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, same. I do.
Yeah, I was about to ask, you turned 30 this year. You're 1993 as well, aren't you?
I turned 30 in 4 months.
Whoop, whoop.
But no,
I'm excited for that because I can drink this year. I couldn't drink last year.
Yeah, yeah. Did you manage to bowl?
Yeah, see, exactly. Didn't let it hold me back.
You were quite early on in your pregnancy, to be fair.
Yeah, I was. I think I just started showing, hadn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if 2022 was a bit rubbish for you like it was for me, though this podcast was a highlight, then I hope 2023 is much better and you know what, if it's not, just remember time is an illusion.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about years. Sometimes it's just about getting through the day, getting through the minute sometimes when you're in the worst possible place. And there's always people around who will help and support you. 2022 is a rubbish year for me because I lost someone to their mental health. And I just promise you'll always be more missed than you'll ever realise. And people would much rather sit and chat with you for hours than ever sit and have to talk about how much they miss you.
100%.
So,
can I just jump on that and like say as well, like, don't feel the pressure. Like, if you did have a bad year last year, don't feel pressured into making a resolution for this year. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Your resolution can be surviving.
Yeah, like, so many people are like, oh, so what's your New Year's resolution? And even if it is just to be like, to get through each day and like just get to the end of each day, that's fine.
You know what my New Year's resolution is?
What?
It's literally I'm not to be like, yeah, you don't have to make a resolution, but mine is. No, mine is literally each day I've been telling myself, you are the shit.
Yeah, you can do this.
Because I put myself down so much, and literally every day this year I've just been like, you're the shit.
You're the shit. You're that bitch.
I am that bitch. And as cringy as that might be, just tell yourself that and you will believe it in the end. And
baby steps.
I'm just so happy and proud of each and every single person that has made it to today. And I'm still proud of the people that haven't, because they made it as far as they could. And there's no shame in not being able to. But on a happier note, we've got a little bit of housekeeping to do.
Yep.
Which makes it sound like a chore, but it's not a chore.
No, it's not.
So first of all, we need to do a massive overdue thank you and shout out to Emma, who runs Real Life Ghost Stories podcast, one of my most favourite podcasts. We did episode 38 with her when Jess was on mat leave.
Yeah.
And
so that seems like so long ago now, doesn't it?
I know. And it was personally an amazing episode, I think. And just a massive shout out to her, because she then did a shout out for us and it has really helped us grow. And anyone who has joined us from Real Life Ghost Stories, hello. You're very welcome here. We're so happy to have you here. And we just hope that we have a show that you enjoy. So thank you, Emma. Thank you, Real Life Ghost Stories. And thank you to all the new listeners. Hi.
Yeah,
that was creepy.
Thank you, guys.
Our next little thing I want to talk about is Patreon. So right now, obviously, we do have a Patreon, but it's a very small thing in terms of we've got a £1 tier that's just for what we call our familiars. As we all know, familiars support their witches in all the best ways. Yep. So that's our £1 tier. We have no extra content on there at the moment. But 2023 is the year.
Is that your drum roll, by the way? I like it.
2023, I don't even know if it'll pick up. 2023 is the year that all changes, and we are hoping, I'm not going to set anything in stone because I'm really bad at making promises I don't keep, which I'm sure Jess hates me for every time.
Well, I think as you said, we're very busy people. We do this on the side of full-time jobs. Yeah, so it's hard to make set in stone promises and then find the time to do this work and have a life, which apparently everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. We are hoping to get our Patreon up and running in around March time is what we're aiming for. As I said, I'm not putting anything in stone just yet. We will obviously release a bit more information, just because Jess is raising a human. Simon's got a full-time job. I've got a full-time job. So we are just trying to get a few things recorded and get it out there. The Patreon, we are aiming to have episodes such as a monthly sort of true crime and paranormal news roundup. I also want to tag on to that. We're going to do a happy, feel-good story from that month every episode, because I think we all need a little bit of happy, feel-good. 100%. It's nice for us as well to like look for those things as well. Yeah. Because even the news doesn't always put them up sometimes. It's really easy to look for the negative because it makes headlines. But actually there's some brilliant things. And I want to talk about one of them in a minute. Nice. And then we also aim to have a few more sort of cryptid things. And also some ghost stories either from Reddit or ghost stories
by published authors, like we did the Edgar Allan Poe one.
Yeah.
So those are some things we have in the works, but we also have other ideas we're going to be doing. Other thing I want to do, next housekeeping, is apologise for the unexpected break over Christmas. I did my usual, there'll be another episode, and there wasn't.
Yeah.
Purely because life didn't work out like that. Simon was away visiting family and such, and wasn't able to edit for us, and then my partner was away who normally steps in, and it was just a whole...
Yeah, I was ill as well, so couldn't record all me. I mean, I don't know if I still sound a bit, but I am still got a little bit of a cough, and I think I do sound...
You're slightly hoarse.
Yeah, a little bit nasally, a little bit croaky.
So, yeah, life just, again, didn't work out. I've got to stop promising things that we can't deliver on and blindsiding Jess. So that is on me, and I'm very sorry. But thank you for sticking with us, everyone.
We come in with high hopes, and then...
we try our best.
We try, and then reality gets in the way, and... Yeah.
Dreams bigger than
it's like eyes bigger than your belly, but
dreams bigger than my belly.
Yeah, it still works, it's fine.
And the last housekeeping is a really good thing. We turn, when this comes out, should be I'm not making promises,
when it should come out.
the 9th of January, and that means that the next day we as a podcast turn 1 year old.
Oh, we're so old. It does not feel like we've been doing this for a full year.
It kind of feels like we have, and then it kind of feels like we haven't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like having a baby. It feels like we've been doing it forever, but that we've only just started doing it.
Yeah. And I'm also quite proud to say that within the entire 52 weeks of the year, we've still put out 48 episodes.
That is good.
I feel like even though we would have liked to put out 52.
Yeah. I think, as you said, considering the year, especially that you've had, I think, obviously we took a break when you said, sadly, you lost a friend this year. And I think to only have missed a couple of weeks is insane.
Yeah. And I think a part of who I lost, he was such a big cheerleader for me, and he wouldn't have wanted us to not carry on.
Oh, God, yeah.
So... And I know his sister and his mum sometimes listen to these episodes. So hi, Jade. Hi, Sally.
Hi.
And I'm always thinking of you guys. And in fact, Jade, I need to text you back. But but yeah, I think that helped, knowing that he would be like, well, don't let me fucking ruin it.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, we managed to put out 48 episodes. We have had a crazy year. And you guys have all continued to listen to us, which is a bit insane. Thank you for sticking with us.
Listening to our waffle.
Yeah. And also, considering you had a baby, putting out 48 episodes, managing to find people to do collabs with us.
Yeah, I'm very impressed that you did that.
I'm also very impressed that you only had 4 weeks off, mate. You pushed a human out your body and you did not have an easy labour.
I had more than 4 weeks off.
You still pushed a human out your body and had not that much time off.
I think I had 6 weeks off.
I'm still proud of you, right? Let me be proud.
Well, I'm proud of you for getting all those incredible people to step in.
I'm very thankful that they all agreed to. I was amazed that they did. So thank you guys. I think we had, so if I remember rightly, Emma from Real Life Ghost Stories shout out.
Yeah.
Weird Bristol shout out. We had Murder, Mystery and Mayhem.
Yeah. This was a funny episode as well.
Yeah,
she was like,
Paige
oh yeah, there's
and Sam.
literally like a tornado happening. And I was like, what?
Oh, that's casual.
Yeah.
And then we also had, oh my God, who have I forgotten?
Mikey.
Oh yeah,
and Simon.
2 like really important people. Then we obviously did an episode of Simon, our editor, and then we did one with my partner Mikey, who also does a podcast called Podiots, which is completely different to ours.
Like polar opposite.
It is, they bring a thing along to talk about, which is normally funny little things, and they do weird little shout outs and answer weird questions, but it's a real feel good one as well.
Yeah.
I do recommend checking it out.
I think I said this to you and Simon, but I don't think I've said it on the podcast, but obviously I listened back to those episodes while I was off. So I was still listening in to just listen to what you've been doing. And the energy that me and you bring is a very different energy to what everyone else brought, like especially Mikey and Simon. They're a lot calmer, and me and you would, I don't know, just sound more chaotic. Yeah,
I mean, you know what? That's the beauty of it. People are always like, oh my God, there's so many podcasts. And I see so many things like, ugh, they're a 10, but they have a podcast and all this. And it's like, you know what, podcasts get bad reps and like they're oversaturated or whatever, but actually every single podcast is different.
Yeah.
And I've actually gotten to a point where I listen to podcasts more than music.
I am the same now. Like, I like to have noise in the background, but a lot of the time now I will have a podcast rather than music, because modern day music at the minute is a bit...
I'm not going to lie.
It's a bit samey.
And also, I feel like... I put on shuffle and I'm like, don't listen to that, don't listen to that.
And I just skip. Whereas I'm like, I won't skip a podcast episode because I don't want to miss what they're talking about.
Exactly. So that's the housekeeping.
Yeah.
Out of the way.
And the waffling
and the waffle. But yes, we are turning 1.
Yay.
We have Patreon coming out. We are sorry for our break and we are so thankful to everyone who has ever given us a shout out or a recommendation, but I did need to do an extra special thanks to Emma from Real Life Ghost Stories. Without further ado, we do have a bit of a Christmas episode.
Yeah, because I'd planned to do this before getting ill, and obviously then got ill. So I just don't want my hard work to go to waste. The ghost stories aren't Christmassy.
No, it's just one little cryptid.
It's just
thing.
The cryptid is a bit. It's a bit Christmassy, but it's also very dark. So.
It's also a bit true crime coffee. So
yeah, it's very much us.
As is being late and disorganised.
Yeah, but also it's quite funny as well. So I mean, we'll go with it.
Yeah, and. If you're someone who hates Christmas, we're sorry, but we think you will enjoy this because it's a bit badass too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Also, I'll try and do an Easter themed one and actually get it on time for Easter, maybe.
If not, we'll do Easter on Halloween, and we'll have Easter on Halloween.
Let's switch it up.
As Tom DeLonge once sang.
Yeah, let's just have Halloween every time.
Halloween is every day.
Yeah.
Right, so that is 17 minutes of waffle. Is that a new record?
Absolute waffle.
It was also housekeeping.
Yeah, housekeeping as well. So do you want your normal cryptid sandwich?
I do want my cryptid sandwich.
Awesome. Because
I haven't eaten today, so...
Anything at all today?
I've been on nights.
That's not good. Oh, so you've been asleep.
Yeah, so my today started 2 hours ago.
Ah, okay. And you might... I don't know if you... Actually, no, you probably won't know these ghost stories but you will know who sent them.
I think I do know some of the ghost stories, but I haven't seen them ever written out, so...
Oh, okay. So, yeah, these ghost stories are sent in by your mum. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to jump into
Buckle up.
The first one, which she has called The Pussycat Ghost.
Such a mum way to put it, isn't it? Pussycat.
Pussycat. So yeah, this is the story of the Pussycat Ghost. One night when I was about 12 years old, I was in bed and I felt something jump onto the bed and start walking around. It felt like a cat and I could also hear it purring. Now, we had a cat, but I knew it wasn't ours as she was locked outside at night. Don't ask me why, because I can't remember. At the time, I was very scared, but I eventually plucked up the courage to turn on the light and look, but there was nothing there. I turned the light back off and tried to go back to sleep, but it started again. I turned the light on and nothing was there, so I decided to sleep with the light on. I didn't say anything to my family at the time as I didn't want them to think I was bonkers, as this wasn't the kind of thing that my family believed in. When my parents initially bought the house, they couldn't afford proper underlay to go under the carpets, so they used newspaper instead, and then they put the carpet on top. This meant that whenever you walked on the carpet, you could hear the crinkle of the newspaper underneath. This carried on for a few nights, then one night I shouted, "Get off the bed," to the cat that I could feel there. I felt the cat jump off the bed and I could hear the newspaper crinkle under its feet as it hit the floor. Some time passed and one day my dad said, "Does anyone else feel that cat?" My mum replied, "Funny you should say that, as sometimes When I'm at the sink doing the washing up, I can feel a cat rubbing around my legs, and when I look down, there isn't a cat there. My dad told us a story about how the other night he had let the cat out as normal, and then he went upstairs to bed. As he walked upstairs, he saw a cat outside my bedroom door and let it into my room. It wasn't until he got on back into his room he realised that it couldn't have been our cat, as he had already let them outside. He walked back to my room and looked inside, but there was no cat to be found. This went on for a while, and then all of a sudden stopped one day. And that's the end of your mum's story.
Ooh, so I knew a little bit. I knew about my nan saying that she heard, that she felt a cat round her legs when she was washing up. But I didn't know about the bit about my mum being in bed, and I didn't know about her dad.
Yeah, it's a bit creepy, isn't it? Like, because
I think it's lovely.
But everyone knows what a cat feels like when you jump on the bed. I would personally be a bit worried because Albus gets in our bed all the time. So if I then looked down and it wasn't him, I'd panic where Albus was and be like, well, I felt him jump into bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit... Yeah, it's not as... I don't know why, but yeah, an animal ghost isn't as scary as a human ghost.
I'd definitely rather feel an animal jump on the bed than feel a human sit on my bed.
Yeah.
And not be there.
Yeah. But it's mad that, like, they all felt it and then her dad must have seen it.
Yeah.
Because he let it into her room.
See, I think it's really nice because I like cats.
Yeah, fair. Yeah,
and I just think it's something sweet about, obviously, animals in general. And it just feels like this cat was obviously like a loved cat. It was obviously like a lab cat or whatever. And was just still hanging about and... Wants
all the cuddles.
Yeah. Oh, it's weird that the other cat maybe never reacted to it.
Yeah, because not cats, but like, cats, animals in general are supposed to not have a sixth sense, but like, you always think of them knowing when someone's there, even if you can't see them.
But then maybe they were chill, maybe they were just mates.
Yeah, maybe.
So, hey, Ghosty. And they're like, hey, Alivey.
Yeah, I mean, cats hate other living cats, so maybe they're all right with dead cats, like...
I mean, not all cats hate other living cats.
Yeah, my cats hate each other. I'm just looking at them. Albus is sat outside the bathroom door waiting for Aidan to finish his shower. And Deli wanted to walk past him, but instead of walking close to him, she walked like as close to the wall and as far away from him as she can. Sometimes she'll just walk up to him and growl at him and walk away again. I think it's just her.
Yeah, I think she's the problem. But
oh yeah, definitely.
Albus is just like, what'd I do?
Oh yeah, he just wants to cuddle and play. Like, if she's asleep, he'll try and cuddle with her. But in winter, she doesn't mind too much because she gets quite cold, and obviously he's massive and fluffy, so she's like, oh, okay, you're
I'll
warm.
tolerate this.
Go on then.
See, I would absolutely love it if any of my late pets would come back to visit me.
Oh my God, same.
I wouldn't necessarily know if my my old ferrets came back to visit me because obviously it's different.
Yeah.
But I would love it if my old cats did. And, you know, when Karen passes, I would love it if she did. That would warm my heart so much. So I think this is really nice. It's just a cat having cuddles.
If Deli did, I wouldn't know because she obviously avoids people like the plague. So,
but you know Albus.
Yeah, Albus. He's definitely the kind of cat that would. He sleeps in between me and Aidan every single night.
Oh, baby. So, should we do the cryptid?
The Christmas cryptid actually follows on quite nicely because it is the Yule cat.
Oh, I kind of know this because I sent it to you. Like, we must cover.
Yes, lots of fun, lots of Christmas fun.
Yay, Christmas, the most wonderful. everyone who was like, well done, you made it through Christmas. They're like, for fuck's sake.
We're dragging it out another week.
We're so sorry, but it's a good cryptid, don't worry.
It is. So, obviously, if you don't know about the Yule cat, it's
less of a cryptid, more of a folklore, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's pretty similar to just the traditional traits of a cat in that it likes to destroy things, but it's just over the Christmas period. And it is a notorious troublemaker. However, it's a little bit more sinister than just knocking your baubles off the tree or jumping at the top of the tree and knocking the entire thing over.
Which Karen doesn't do.
No, my cats aren't bothered, but...
Karen doesn't even look at the tree.
But Aiden's parents have just got 2 kittens, and they are lush. They're really, really cute. But they are kittens. They chewed through the wires of the tree.
Ooh.
Yeah. Luckily, they were off at the time. They knocked the tree over. They opened all the presents that were underneath the tree.
These are for me.
Little menaces, but very, very, very cute.
Yeah, they're cute enough to get away with it.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you know where the Yule cat comes from?
Is it Scandinavia? Scandinavian.
Yeah,
Iceland.
so it's, Icelandic. Yeah. Ah, you know, you've got your Yule cat knowledge.
Mikey covered this slightly on his podiats.
Oh, really?
But he did the 12 brothers and then touched on the Yule cat, or 13 brothers and touched on the Yule cat.
Obviously, me and you wouldn't have to worry about the Yule cat. But do you know who would? Do you know what kind, or who would have to worry about the Yule cat on Christmas Eve?
Is it the children?
It is the children. It's always the children.
Children are creepy.
Yeah, they are. Case in point. Creepy. But specifically, it will feast on the children who are not gifted any new colourful clothes. So,
I mean, you know, sure.
Yeah, random one. So as long as you give your kids clothes, the Yule cat won't eat them.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, fair. So basically, in summary, it is a weird cat that comes down from its cave on Christmas Eve and eats any children who haven't been gifted new clothes.
To be fair, if I was a child and I was currently, as I am now, I would get eaten because I don't buy new things. I shop secondhand all the time. So, but does that count? I don't know. Probably not.
I guess if it's gifted to you, it's new to you.
I think this was done, if I remember rightly, I think this was done so that people remembered to get like new socks and like warm things so that they survive the winter. So it was like a survival fable. And
I think there is something that I read, I can't remember if I put it in because I obviously did it about 2 weeks ago, but where it was almost like if you survived the Yule cat, you'll survive the winter.
Yeah.
So like even if you somehow managed to escape the Yule cat, if you didn't get new clothes, you wouldn't survive winter because you didn't have any nice new warm clothes. So that was the kind of thing behind it. Yeah.
So that all these things are sort of like teaching you how to. It's like teaching kids how to survive.
Yeah.
In
but
the cold
also, when
climates.
we get onto the brothers as well, you will see that so much of this comes from like teaching kids to behave and be good around.
But so
Christmas.
many fables do. It's like, you know, like, like if you look into a lot of folklore, I can't obviously remember anything off the top of my head because why would I?
Yeah.
But it's like in a lot of Native American folklore, for example, there'll be like a swamp monster or a monster in the woods or something.
Yeah.
And that's more teaching children don't go into the woods because it's dangerous because you could fall over and hurt yourself, or don't go into the swamps because you could drown. So it's more to stop this. It's a survival thing.
Yeah, but what is it? It's the same way that Santa is.
So kids
like,
behave themselves.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, if you're naughty, he won't bring you presents. Whereas this is like the other way around. It's like, if you're naughty, you get eaten.
Yeah, that's a bit more hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents used to tell me that at 9 p.m. every night, policemen knocked on the door and made sure the kids were in bed.
Yeah.
Which is, I believed, for way too long.
I heard a story. I can't remember where I heard it from, but I think it was like through somebody. So I don't know this person directly, but they their parents used to tell them that the ice cream van was the child snatcher. Just so they would never ask for ice cream. Mean. I know. I was like, that's like a little step too far. That's
who really, give your kid a £1 ice cream once a week. Like, that ain't gonna bankrupt you.
Yeah. Also, that poor kid's then looking at all these kids queuing up for ice cream and
like,
going,
"Oh no,
they're all gonna get snatched."
Though my mum used to say, I bet that ice cream man has a mansion off of our money. And I used to genuinely think, yeah, he's probably bloody minted. And now I'm an adult, I'm like, bless him, he was on like minimum wage.
Yeah, literally got nothing. Every penny he made went back into his ice cream van.
Yeah, but as a kid, I was like, yeah, I mean, look at all these kids and they're all paying £1. That was when ice cream was £1.
Yeah.
Look at all these kids, they're all paying £1 for their ice cream. Yeah, he must be minted. And now I'm like, oh no, you have to pay for like petrol and supplies and insurance.
Oh my God,
tax.
yeah. Imagine being an ice cream man now. God, the amount of money
No
they
wonder
must
it's more
spend.
than £1.
Yeah. The amount they must spend on petrol.
Isn't it? So, yeah, back to cats eating people.
Yes. So
Take it away.
So while I was looking at the Yule cat, it's said that it's not actually sure where or when the tale began, but it was made famous by a poem, which, I mean, we've already said it's Icelandic. The name is very Icelandic, so I'm not even... But I think the first name is definitely like Johannes or something like that.
Probably Johannes.
Or Johannes, yeah. And then I don't know what sound the O with 2 dots above it is supposed to make.
Yeah, the umlaut.
But it's not going to be an O, is it? Because if they read it in English, it'd be Cotlum. But obviously the O with 2 dots isn't O.
If anybody knows how to pronounce that
please.
umlaut,
It's
let me
the
know.
same as in like Welsh, like double L is the
Yeah. And a Y is a U and a U is a Y.
And then that's why Welsh words are clong. But anyway, it's a very, very long poem, but the first 4 lines are, you know the Christmas cat, the cat was enormous. People know not where he came from, nor what place he went. And then it like goes on to say that like if you hear a cat meow on Christmas Eve, you'll have bad luck, as this cat hunts men and not mice. But it also, at the end, kind of has a nice sentiment because it encourages people who maybe are a bit more well off to buy clothes for poorer children. Otherwise, they will be victims to the cat because they can't afford new clothes. So, yeah.
And that's nice.
Yeah. It does also say to like encourage them a bit more. It says also like that if you give gifts, that will also protect you as well as receiving gifts. So yeah, a little bit nice. So always give to the poor and needy.
Yeah.
Give what you can.
Not just at Christmas.
Yeah, give what you can. Obviously, the clothes bit is a bit random, but it's thought that it comes from a medieval tale about how employers would give their hard-working employees clothes for working so hard. And then
nice.
People who slacked off wouldn't get anything. So then that came like, oh, you'll get eaten by the Yule cat. But I think it's, as you touched on earlier, it's to stop them freezing through the winter by encouraging them to work hard and not be lazy, really.
Yeah.
Because apparently it could get up to like -10.
Yeah, so you'd need those warm new clothes.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously there was a massive... back then, and I think it should still be a thing now, make do and mend. I know that was a war thing, but obviously we've become more wasteful as a society, so back then it was more make do, mend, you know, but this was to remind you that actually you do need new clothes when you're in really cold climates.
Yeah, especially if you're hitting temperatures like -10. I mean, we had -7 just before Christmas, and oh my fuck, it was cold.
Yeah, we had definitely that cold snap, didn't we?
Yeah, it was so cold. Like, I don't think I turned our heating off much. Whereas normally I'm that person that's like, put a jumper on. But I'm like, I can't do that with a baby, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, I can. She just sat in my dressing gown every day. So, yeah, basically, you were right in thinking, because it gets cold, get new clothes for the winter. But it's thought that the cat was some kind of troll cat conjured by wizards and witches from dead men's nails and bones. And then because the witches and wizards had like created them, and or conjured them, if you will, then they would set out to do the witches and wizards' bidding. So actually giving new clothes wouldn't have helped anyway if the witch or wizard wanted you dead. So there's a little bit of differences behind them, but most of it is...
also good for everyone to remember that when witches want you dead,
you dead.
It will happen. Beware, don't piss us off.
Yep. We will always...
Not a threat, I promise.
Yeah, we will always get you. So I don't know... Ooh, obviously, you touched on the Yule lads as well.
Yeah.
But do you know who the other person associated with the Yule cat and the Yule lads is?
It's the mum.
Yeah.
Grim or something?
I've got Gryla.
Gryla, yeah.
Gryla. Yeah, so she is a troll woman, giant thing.
Me too.
Bit gross. I mean, if you Google her, the pictures that kind of people dress up as her, and it's basically a weird looking troll thing with a massive head.
I'll put pictures up with this episode. So
yeah. So yeah, she is described as a terrifying, twisted, and cruel version of Santa. And on Christmas Eve,
sort of like a Krampus, but for Scandinavia.
Yeah.
Scandinavian places.
Yeah. So on Christmas Eve, her and the Yule cat will venture down from their mountain cave and steal naughty children to take back up to her cave and make into a stew.
I was really with you until it was still normally naughty children, because I was like, yeah, that's me and Karen, and then I was like, wait, I don't. I'm not a kidnapper. You can keep your kids.
Don't steal naughty children.
No. Also, don't steal the naughty ones, because you want the easy. No, anyway.
You want the easy children. Yeah.
It just sounds like a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. Having all these naughty kids, and you're like, I'm really fucked up here.
Yeah. Have you watched Young Sheldon?
No, because Jess, I have good taste.
Well, no, it's actually quite funny. But they are worried that one day he gets kidnapped and his dad turns around and goes, don't worry, if he's kidnapped, they'll bring him back.
That's what my dad always used to say to me.
Yeah, won't want him for long. But yeah, I mean, I guess they're taking the naughty children to turn them into stew.
Fair.
So, yeah.
Cats got to eat.
Yeah.
Trolls got to eat.
Cats be catting.
Trolls be trolling.
So, as most troll creatures, you can guess that the main characteristics of them are they are hideous, inhumanly strong, lustful, and cannibalistic.
I'm with two of those traits, but yeah, cannibalism's a bit much for me.
Yeah. What two are you going for? Inhumanly strong?
Yeah.
And lustful?
Yeah.
Nice.
I see no problems with those. I've got no qualms.
No.
No qualms over here.
No arguments. So Gryla apparently comes under the genre of troll wife, and if you are ever find yourself facing a troll wife, do you know what the advice is of how to escape them?
Ask how your troll husband is.
Yeah, no. So apparently they're well known for luring the hero of the story into temptation. So if you're being lured by a troll wife, if you're ever in that situation...
I'm no hero, so I'm fine.
I'm the anti-hero.
Actually,
I am the troll
NHS
heroes. So apparently the advice is don't sleep with them.
I'm in a relationship. I would never.
Yeah, and
you're married. You would never.
Yeah, I would never. Oh, I don't have my ring on. Actually. And don't share your food with them.
I never share food.
Just
Joey doesn't share food.
So I think me and you are fine.
We are safe. First of all, I'm not a hero. I'm no hero. Secondly, too tired to have sex. And in a relationship. And thirdly, I ain't sharing my food with no one. Fuck off.
Yeah, honest. Even Aiden knows.
Troll woman, get your own kids to eat.
Yeah. So also, I'm like, how is this troll woman who's been described as hideous, inhumanly strong, twisted, and terrifying, luring heroes into bed?
You know what? Shrek and Fiona found each other.
Yeah, that's true. But Shrek wasn't a cannibal.
No, but Donkey also found Dragon, and we have no idea how that setup worked. I don't want to know.
Cartoons. So when I worked with kids, we would watch like films during lunch just to like quiet them down so they'd sit and concentrate on something for an hour.
Yeah, TV babysitter.
Yeah, before we went swimming, because obviously we need to eat, sit down. And we always had a rule. We're like, don't question children's films, because otherwise you will sit there and drive yourself crazy.
Oh yeah, like we have no idea how Dragon and Donkey
cute
had
little pet name though, Drunky.
How Dragon and Donkey had their children, but you know what, the less we know the better.
Just to step away from Christmas, apparently Gryla hasn't always been associated with Christmas. It was only in the 17th century.
I mean, it's quite a long time.
Yeah.
It's not recent years, is it?
No, it's not. But, so apparently before that she was a beggar woman. But she has always...
Respect the hustle.
She has always begged for disobedient children to eat. And I'm like, so she would go around begging parents.
Hard sell.
Yeah, be like, give me your child so I can eat them. And I was like, no matter how naughty a kid is, who's going, yeah, you know what? They're such a little shit. Just take them and eat them.
Yeah, it's a hard sell, really. Also, I don't really enjoy the villainization of people simply begging to survive, like, because this is the one thing I don't like
by being
of
a
it.
cannibal, but yeah.
No, but I mean, like, it's almost like I know this was the 17th century, but it's almost like villainizing people who were homeless, like that's irked me a little bit. Not my lefty heart ain't into that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The last fact I have about actually no, second to last fact I have about Gryla,
penultimate,
which I feel like you'll really enjoy, and I feel it's how all women should live their lives. She's married to her third husband because she ate her first two husbands.
I mean,
so yeah, women, if you're
fuck
bored
around
of your
and
husband,
find out.
yeah, if you're bored of your husband, just yeah.
I'm just gonna say, for the sake of divorce is always an option.
Yeah, before murder. So that's Gryla, and obviously you said about the Yule lads.
Lads.
She was obviously the mother. She had 13 boys.
I mean, you do you, boo. Sounds like hell to me, but...
So, I don't know if you know about the lads, but they're not quite as gory and gruesome as Gryla and the Yule Cat, as they don't eat children. But they actually leave gifts for them.
They don't eat children. They leave... So Mikey covered it a bit differently.
Oh, really?
His was more, not that they leave gifts, but like, for example, one of them translates as like spoon licker.
Oh, I've got all of their names and they are.
So it wasn't that
weird.
he left a gift, it was more like, if you didn't tidy up your spoons, he would lick them. So it was like encourage people to like tidy up.
Basically, they're again things to, obviously, as the Yule Cat encourages you to buy new clothes and gift new clothes. The Yule lads are definitely to try and train kids to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like as you said, clean up their spoons. And as we go through them, it would be obvious what they're trying to make them do.
Okay, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, but when I say gifts, it's more like pranks. So I think this is where their coal and presents come from. So if you were nice, you would get something like something nice, depending on how nice you'd been. But if you were naughty, that's when you'd get coal or rotten vegetables, an orange. I have to say an orange is quite a nice gift, to be fair.
I don't like oranges.
Oh, I do. But they would also play pranks on people. Apparently they're harmless pranks, but yeah.
I'll be the judge of that.
But the difference between them is that they start on the 11th of December and then one by one they come down. So
they're sort of like the 12 days of Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's 13 of them. So they kind of like warm you up for the gruesome ones. Yeah. But apparently some of the stories of them were actually banned in 1746 because they were originally as gruesome as the Yule Cat and Gryla. Like, they were, like, murdering people and doing horrible things. But obviously there's not really many records from before then, so it was more like word of mouth. So I couldn't find anywhere what the original tales were.
It's quite funny that they were banned, because how do you enforce that?
Yeah, like, so I think they've just got a bit more tame over the years, which, like, it's nice, but also I would love to know the original stories.
Of course.
So anyway, are you ready for the names of the 13 Yule lads?
Hit me.
And these are the English translations. So I'm going to say what they are, and then I'll see if you can guess them. Okay. So the first Yule lad that comes down on the, did I say the 11th? I can't remember. Whichever day it is the sheep coat clod.
Okay.
What do you think he does?
So, remember, I know these a little bit, but I'm having to remember. I feel like he takes your sheep or something.
Yeah, so he just, like, terrorizes sheep, apparently.
Fair.
But also...
It's like a dog.
Yeah. But apparently the way to, like, you just got to let him terrorize your sheep if you see him around, because he's not threatening to humans, because apparently he has deformed legs.
Oh, bless him.
So you will always outrun him. So the advice is just to hide and wait.
I don't know if I could outrun a sheep, though.
No. So yeah, I don't know how he's getting the sheep. But yeah, but that's the advice.
How fast does sheep run? That's a weird Google.
So you ready for Yule lad number 2?
I am, yes.
Is Gully Gawk.
Gully Gawk.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think he does?
Gawks at seagulls.
No. He breaks into cow sheds and steals the milk.
Oh, of course, that was my second guess.
Yeah. Because it sounds so similar. But again, teaches you to clean up your milk. Yeah.
A sheep can travel at speeds of up to 25 miles per hour.
Flipping out, that's fast.
And
that's
that
faster than me.
From an article called Sheep Animal Facts.
Love it. Okay, number 3 was Stubby.
Puts your cigarettes out.
Oh, do you know what? That would have been better. Apparently he steals pans and, like, eats the crusts off them.
You do you, boo.
Yeah.
To be fair, I do really like the burnt bits off cake pans.
Yeah, so I think that's what it sounds like he does. But apparently as well, I didn't realise that back in the day, pans were really expensive in Iceland because they had no iron reserves.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like a lot of things were more expensive back in the day because they were made to last. There were less resources. You couldn't just like manufacture them.
They had no
thousands a minute.
Poundland, yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't like a TK Maxx or a Le Creuset.
Yeah. So yeah. The next one is spoon licker. It's a bit of an easier one.
Does he lick spoons?
He does.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. Apparently...
No, he doesn't actually.
No, actually, he smashes glasses. Apparently, he was the most malnourished of the 13, which made me feel a little bit sad for him. And that's why he licks spoons. And I'm
kind of reminds me of salad fingers.
Oh, yeah.
I like rusty spoons. But he touches them, doesn't he?
Yeah. So the next one is pot scraper.
Right, so he hits windows.
Yep. So he breaks in and looks in pots for food to eat.
Isn't that the other one, though, really?
Oh, mate. Number 6 is bowl licker.
Right, well, these guys are going to be having a bit of a scuffle, aren't they?
Yeah. But apparently bowl licker's a bit different because he... like, children back in the day apparently would have in... Iceland would have nighttime soup or pudding. So he waits for them to have their nighttime soup, and then when they put it under their bed, when they're finished with it, he'll come in and lick those bowls.
So is this to get them to like put their stuff, eat it all, and then put it
all, yeah,
and also not leave it by their bed to like take it downstairs. Put it away.
Yeah. Number 7 is door slammer.
Fair. I mean, yeah. Don't slam doors.
He was also the most like believed, or make sure that they close their doors properly, because obviously the wind would bang the door, so a lot of people did believe in him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I used to get really told off as a kid because when I was in a strop, I would slam doors.
Yeah, I used to slam
and that
doors.
would break the door frame. And then over time.
Yeah.
And then once I realised that was what I was doing, I used to do it on purpose. I was such a little shit.
Oh, I'd hate to be a mum.
Yeah.
So the next one was Scry Gobbler. I think I've said that right.
Okay, so I'm thinking that they used to write on goblins.
So apparently Scry?
Scry? Scry means writing, to scry.
Well, apparently it's an Icelandic treat over Christmas.
Oh, so no, scry isn't writing, but scry, if you scry as a witch, you're it's like a spell almost.
Yeah. So basically, he will just come and steal. It's basically, I looked at it, it's a bit like eggnog.
Oh, okay. Sounds gross.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, the next one, I think this is going to be the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So what's the Sky Gobbler, sorry?
Oh, he just steals the eggnog.
Okay, you can have it.
Yeah. The last few are the weirdest names, in my opinion.
Okay.
So number 9, we have the Sausage Snatcher.
Be snatching those sausages.
Be snatching them sausages. Apparently, it's smoked sausages for Christmas is their main food, rather than a turkey.
I can kind of see that because when you go to Christmas markets and this is more German, obviously.
Yeah.
But you go to German Christmas markets, obviously they're famous for their sausages.
Yeah.
And they'd have that, so I can imagine because it's similar regions.
They would have sausages as well.
I think. I mean, our geography is known to be.
Awful, yeah. Simon pokes fun at it all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you. And number 10, you've got Window Peeper.
Peeping in those windows. Mm-hmm. I'm peeping windows.
And obviously, oh, pardon me. In Iceland, they only have 4 hours of daylight in the winter.
Yeah.
So it was kind of designed to scare children from going out in the dark.
Fair,
Yeah.
but I'd be pretty scared staying in as well if someone's peeping in.
Yeah. Then you had Doorway Sniffer.
Weirdo. Why are you sniffing doorways? What are you smelling?
Apparently it was to explain the wind whistling through the house.
Oh, okay.
And just
He's got bad sinuses then.
Yeah. Ooh, shit. And just thinking that he was in your house was enough to scare children into behaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parents really have been just blackmailing their kids and terrifying them for forever, haven't they?
Oh, 100%, yeah. And then number 12 is Meat Hook. He would steal any meat.
That sounds like a serial killer.
Yeah. Well, it's just he had a hook and that's how he stole the meat, and he would climb up into the rafters.
So he's a pirate?
Yeah, basically. He didn't have a hook for hand, but he had hooks.
That's where my mind went. It would have been good if he did. That seems cut out the middleman.
Yeah. And then the last one is Candle Stealer.
Oh, that would piss me right off. You stole my candle.
Especially if you've got 4 hours of daylight.
Yeah, especially if it's a nice Yankee one,
Oh, yeah,
that
good
should be
scented
expensive.
one. Yeah.
I actually don't have any Yankee candles because I just think I'm not spending 14 quid on a candle. But
I have 2, but
if they're gifted
they were
to me,
both gifted.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great gift.
Remortgaging my rented house for a candle.
But yeah, as you guessed, they are all about scaring children into behaving.
Yeah, and I just think people in general, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Because obviously people knew less, understood less.
Oh, God, yeah.
So it was just keeping people in line.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, how did you enjoy the story of the Yule Cat, Gryla, and the Yule Lads?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good to hear it from a true crime coven perspective.
Rather than a funny perspective.
I mean, we had fun with it, mate. But,
yeah, we did. But
yeah, it was good to hear it from a different perspective.
Shall we finish? Should we go into the final story? Because this is been a long episode.
It has, so sigh.
I can hear the baby crying downstairs, so we should probably wrap this up.
Sweet.
Poor Aiden, he's just come back from football and gone straight into a crying baby. Okay.
He loves him.
Yeah, he's fine. So the last story is, again, a story from your mother.
My mother.
So thank you very much, Sandra. So, my story takes place when Claudia was about 6 or 7. And at this age, Claudia didn't like sleeping in her bedroom. Although she didn't really like sleeping at all.
Sorry.
Sorry. I think this is the story that you've told, but it's from your mother's perspective.
Fair. Carry on.
Odd things started happening around the house. And don't worry, Claudia, it had nothing to do with you. At this time, I had started growing my hair, so I decided to buy some hairspray to hold the stray bits of hair in place. Anyway, I put it in the cupboard in my bedroom, and when I went to use it a couple of days later, it wasn't there anymore. Little things like this used to happen quite a bit, things not being where you left them. On this particular day, I'd had enough and said, for God's sake, put it back. I went downstairs, and when I went back upstairs later in the day, the hairspray was back in the cupboard, where I had originally left it. I couldn't explain it. Another time, around the same time of year, I was in Claudia's bedroom, and she used to have a wooden rail with wooden rings holding up her curtains. When I went into her bedroom, they were closed, so I decided to open them as it was the morning. I then headed into the bathroom. When I was in the bathroom, I heard a noise that sounded like wood hitting against wood. I walked back into the bedroom, and the curtains had closed. So I opened them again, walked back out the room, and heard the noise. I went back into the room, and the curtains were closed again. At this point, I decided to leave the curtains closed, as I decided I was fighting a losing battle. Years later, I went to a tarot card reader and didn't say anything to her, but she was able to tell me that there was a child ghost in our house who would like to let us know he was there by playing tricks on us, like opening the curtains. Obviously, you know that your dad had a younger brother who sadly died when he was 18 months old, which she guessed was him living in your room causing havoc. This lasted for a while, and then one day it just stopped. And that's the end of her story.
So, yeah, I did know the story, as you know, and I told it on the episode, but it's obviously good to have my mum back it up.
Yeah, and her side of the story, really.
Yeah, and this thing, as a kid, I really hated sleeping in my bedroom. And I know, like, lots of people could say, oh, these kids always... But, I mean, I probably didn't really consistently sleep in my own bedroom until I was, like, 12.
Oh, wow.
And then... Even then, I spent nights sleeping on my mum's bedroom floor just because I really didn't like sleeping in my bedroom. And like I said, I know people say like kids always go in with their parents, but that is like too long.
Yeah, that's way, way, way older.
And like I was just scared of it just because I always felt like something was in the room.
Yeah.
I didn't play in my bedroom or anything most of the time either. Like I did have a playroom downstairs that meant I didn't have to, and it had all my toys in it. But I didn't really spend time in my bedroom until I was a bit older, outside of like going to sleep in it, and then I didn't even then because I just didn't like it.
And that's fair enough.
And I feel like most kids spend a lot of time playing in the bedroom.
Yeah, you obviously had, like, obviously you've told this story before where you didn't want to stay in your bedroom because like you didn't feel...
Just felt off.
Like, yeah. And you said about it being... I think you said about the tarot card reading as well, didn't you? So yeah, but it, like, yeah, nice to get it backed up by her from her side of the story. And I don't think you hadn't mentioned the hairspray one. No,
I knew about things being moved.
Yeah,
but I will say, is she sure I didn't move it?
I guess
all I'm gonna say.
Then the putting it back as well, isn't it? Like it not being there and then it being there when she tells them off. So it could be a coincidence, but it could also be, I think as well, when you're sure.
Like, yeah, when you know sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's fair. But yeah, thank you, Mummy, for sending those in.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sandra.
And I'm going to ask her to send in a few others that I know she has. But yeah, sorry, this has been a really long episode, hasn't it? So...
It has. Sorry, Simon. Ooh.
I will quickly tell you the heartwarming thing that lots of people have probably already seen. So, Thor the Walrus is a walrus who came to visit us on English shores. So obviously in England we do have seals. We occasionally get dolphins and basking sharks, but we don't really get walruses. So Thor the Walrus was on Scarborough Coast and he came along and he chilled for a few hours, and I saw this covered by a wildlife medic called, I believe, Beth on Twitter. I can't remember her handle, but she was just saying how it was really lovely. They set up a police line that no one could cross. It was on the harbour side cobbles, and she said that people came up to her and were genuinely curious and respectful, which is always nice, because we do often
really
hear
nice.
news stories of people completely disrespecting wildlife and wildlife boundaries, and I've seen it myself firsthand, and it really annoys me, because there's a reason boundaries should be in place for our protection and for theirs. But people were genuinely interested and asked questions about him, and they also brought lots of snacks for the marine medics, as they're called. And then they just observed him for a bit. He seemed really chill. He did get so comfy, in fact, that I don't know if this is actually what he did, but there is a video of him with his walrus weenus out and rubbing it. So maybe he had a little hand shandy to see the new year in. And you know what? They should have all just turned around and let him. And then they cancelled the fireworks.
I thought that was really lovely.
And I think that's lovely, because I'm not a huge fan of fireworks because of what they do for wildlife. You know, they scare a lot of wildlife.
Yeah, they do.
They cause havoc with bees and birds, the birds and the bees. And they upset a lot of domesticated animals. Thankfully, none of mine. So I'm not a huge fan of fireworks anyway, and I think it's really nice that wildlife and animals are taken into consideration, though he did bugger off before the new year.
Yeah, but oh well.
And last he was seen in Blyth in Northumberland. So yeah, I just thought that was a really nice, heartwarming story.
Yeah, that is
I'll put
cute.
some pictures on the post as well of him, because Thor, I would literally die for you. So that is what we'll end on, a nice little heartwarming story to remember that sometimes we're really bloody brilliant to wildlife, and they come and visit us, and aren't they amazing? And if people don't like animals and listen to this, I'm sorry, but you got one of the biggest animal lovers here, and it just warmed my heart.
Yeah.
So on that note, we're going to let you all go, because it's been a long episode.
It has been very long, and I need to go to bed.
Yeah. But to recap, thank you to Emma in Real Life Ghost Stories. Go check out the podcast.
Yeah, massive
hello
thank you.
to all. Thank you so much. Massive hello to anyone who's come over from her podcast. You are so welcome here. We're so happy to have you here. Patreon soon. Sorry about our unexpected break. And we turn 1 tomorrow, hopefully, if this comes out on time.
Yeah, that's exciting.
But most of all, you've just all got to remember to stay spooky. Hey guys, if you have a ghost story or a case suggestion, please email us, truecrimecovenpod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on Twitter @truecrimecoven, or on Instagram and Facebook, where we are @truecrimecovenpod.
Also, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could rate us wherever you're listening to this right now, be it Spotify, Apple Music, or if you're on YouTube, give us a little thumbs up, click that bell, get notifications every time we post.
Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from.
Make these two witches smile.
Thanks, witches!